Number one.
Miss any part of the show? Every moment of every show is available in podcast form by searching Hans and Scotty on your favorite podcasting platform or online at KSLSports.com. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Overall, a really, really high-level team.
And to those who are fearful and want to leave, that's okay, because we will bring the ones that want to be here. And we will develop them and love them, and we're going to do everything we can. I've got an unbelievable coaching staff. The future is bright here. And at the end of the day, you're either in the boat or you're out. And yes, does it hurt to lose great young men? 100%, particularly when you've poured into them. It tears at your heartstrings. But we have to focus on, okay, who wants to be here? And let's go develop them to be that next year's group of guys you never heard of or guys that didn't make plays for you the year before, but here we go. And like I said, I'm confident in our staff, confident in our players. We're going to get the job done.
The words of Utah head coach Morgan Scalley, and Devon Dampier said, you know what? I want to be part of this. Devon Dampier returning to the University of Utah, kept things very quiet, kept things close to the vest, and decided, you know what? Now I'm ready to go. And I'm sure that there were incredible offers on the open market. I can't imagine what his DMs look like from all over the country saying, hey, you know what? Your coach just left. Come here, cash our checks. We're ready to go. And yet, he stays put. And the fact that it took so long makes me think he did his due diligence in working with the new staff to make sure that this is what he wanted.
Well, the good news is now this is an indicator that more and more Utah should and will be able to retain their talent.
Yes.
And I've got to imagine Utah fans have been losing their minds as player after player after player from BYU was sending out tweets and announcing that they're staying. They've seen everything from L.J. Martin and Bear Bachmeier to Isaiah Glasker and Falatal Satawala. And they want to act like, well, they aren't good players and, wow, great for you. You get an announcement that a bad player's coming back. They're lying to themselves, and they know that BYU is restocking with the talent that took them to 12 wins. And in the meantime, Utah fans are having to sit there and with their head down knowing their head coach left, took a bunch of talent, and their primary quarterback is not announcing anything. This primary quarterback was waiting to see how Morgan restaffed, who he restaffed with, and who he'd be playing for. That's so understandable. Mm-hmm. Anybody that can't understand that, you're irrational. And you don't deserve to understand it. So Devon Dampier was waiting and probably wanted a meeting with Kevin McGibbon or whoever his offensive coordinator was going to be. Probably wants to understand what's going to be happening next at the University of Utah. Because I want to go where I can win. Because the best way for me to get looks at the next level is wins. I know that for a fact because in a 6-6 season, where there was 5 or 6 of us that probably should have been drafted, only one was drafted, and 4 or 5 of us became free agents that made NFL rosters because we were 6-6. It just was not a good season. We weren't seen on the highest scale. So what did we get? We all got a bunch of senior invites so that we could go out and show NFL scouts more about what we were about because they didn't see, well, are these guys winners? They're seniors. Why are they not winning? And I'm sure Devon Dampier understands that. You know, I don't know if Pavea is an NFL quarterback. I really don't know if he is.
He's not.
But the scouts got to see him turn an entire program around, a school that's never won. Well, why are they winning? Oh, this kid, he's got a lot of guts. He's got moxie. He's got fire. At the very least, he's going to get a shot at it.
Yeah. If Vanderbilt goes 3-9 the last 2 years.
Never a whiff.
Nope.
So to Devon Dampier's credit, he's just doing his homework. He's doing his homework. Him and his agent, anybody else that surrounds him, because he's worth $4 or $5 million. It's probably a smart thing to do. So it took longer than a lot of these BYU kids. Now, these BYU kids, it was really crazy to me because Jay Hill leaves, And these kids are still announcing pretty quick.
Yeah.
Jay Hill left, and Falatal Satawala was like, I'm coming back. I don't even think Kelly Popinga was announced when Falatal Satawala.
A lot of them were announced before Kelly Popinga was officially announced.
I think quite a few of them.
Yeah.
Now, I know why. Because they knew.
They knew.
Yeah, they knew. It was told to them, hey, Kelly Popinga this is going to happen. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with the corners coach, and we don't know what's going to happen with the safeties coach, and maybe we leave or we lose Gennaro or we lose a couple of other guys. We won't lose Kelly Popinga. We know this is going to be your guy. But I've got to imagine there was some level of that.
Yeah.
And these kids left and right, bang, bang, bang. And then you bring in a corners coach, and Evan Johnson rolls in. Wait a second. Tell me more about Demo. Sounds like a good coach. So he was a head coach for a bit. So he's been at Boise State. Okay, so this is a tenured corner coach, so he can get me to the league? Yeah. Okay, I'm in. Let's go. Well, Kevin McGibbon is not a real well-known name. He's going to be. But he's not a real well-known name. And I think Devon Dampier was just taking his time. Now that he's announced, you should see a good amount of people start to announce that they're coming back. And you've seen a few. I do wish that this was announced before J.J. Buchanan signed with Drew Rosenhaus and left for Michigan. Because and maybe J.J. Buchanan talked to Devon, and Devon was like, I'm really leaning to coming back. Okay, leaning? Are you going to? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but are you going to? I'm pretty sure. Well, then announce it now. Let's announce it together. I don't know if you could have saved it, but he's a talent that I don't want to lose if I'm the University of Utah.
The landscape of this is really fascinating because Utah just needed – now, look, there's been wins for Utah. Make no mistake. But they needed a big puff-out-your-chest W. And this is it for Utah. This is where you can say, yeah, not only did we get Bird Ficklin to come back, but we got Devon Dampier to come back. We got both these guys to buy into a system in which they're both being showcased and – will share some opportunities out there on the field. Granted, 80% of it's going to be Devon Dampier, but Bird Ficklin's that's a hungry mouth that wants to be fed. And so you got to find a way to get him involved, and that will come sometimes at the expense of Devon Dampier. So you got to get both those guys to buy into that, coming back for another year. Now, granted, money certainly is going to have a lot to do with it, but also playing time and opportunities to showcase your skill at this level.
Yeah.
And to get both of them in a room with Kevin McGibbon and say, look, I can make this work with both of you. Not only will both of you get opportunities, but both of you guys are getting opportunities to shine and look great. And we're going to win a lot of games. We're just going to score a lot of points, and you're going to be on everybody's radar.
Yeah. The other thing that I'll say about the Devon Dampier signing, it's kind of like A.J. DeBonsa at BYU, where everybody's like, it was all about the money. It's not all about the money.
No.
It's not. I think A.J. could have made more money somewhere. I do. Not a ton more, but enough more to maybe justify it. But it is about something. It is something about where you're at. And that's a really good indicator. Because I really believe Devon Dampier could have probably got more money somewhere. I feel pretty confident and comfortable in saying that.
Absolutely do.
So this says a lot about you. And guess what? That's okay for it to say a lot about you. BYU fans, it's okay for Devon Dampier to say a lot about the University of Utah that he wants to stay there. Just like it's okay to say that A.J. DeBonsa came to BYU for more than just money. There was something there. He felt something. It was Kevin Young and his development and connections to the NBA. It was campus. It was the way he was received by BYU fans. Well, it's the same with Utah fans. And by the way, Utah fans have to get going on the basketball side of things because there's no way you retain Devon Dampier if your football attendance looks like your basketball attendance. This is a full circle, come-together effort to re-sign Devon Dampier. If he doesn't have the fans in the stands, he's not re-signing.
No.
If he doesn't have a certain amount of money to be able to justify staying, then he's not re-signing. If he doesn't have a coach that he's happy with, then he's not resigning. It took a lot to get Devon Dampier to sign and stay at the University of Utah. And it's just funny because we love to lose perspective of that, especially in rivalry talk. You love to lose perspective of why, and then discredit somebody when they're like, no, it was more than money. Yeah, well, okay, but it was money. Well, yeah, you couldn't have done it without money, but it's more than money. It has to be something more than money because there's a lot of these Utah kids that have turned down money. Spencer Fano, he turned down a lot of money to play with Utah in 2025.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Caleb Lomu, the same. Actually, Dallas Vakalahi and Smith Snowden, the same. And they turned down the money. Well, you're going to have kids that are turning down money. Now, the other reason that this timing is important for Devon Dampier, the transfer portal closes in 3 days. And now, as an offensive staff, if I'm Jordan Gross, and I'm jumping to the transfer portal because Jordan Gross will be the number one position coach in the portal. And he's going to his offensive line, and he's looking, and he's like, man, he does have a bunch of freshmen that are going to be sophomore. He's got Soren Schinofield. He's got Brendan Molina. He's got Ike Garcia. Ike Garcia's got to surface, man.
Yeah.
He was a big 4-star, 5-star, whatever. Ike Garcia was the biggest offensive line recruit out of the state in 2024. I think he was a 24 signing, wasn't he?
Yeah, huge signing for them.
It's time, man.
And honestly, I'd forgotten about that name until you brought it up.
It's time.
Yeah.
Crap or get off the pot.
Yep.
Like that's the world of big-time college football now. So, Ike Garcia, you've got a huge responsibility and opportunity in front of you. And now all of a sudden, Keith Olson becomes your upperclassman. And I remember I was up in the indoor with Jim Harding having a conversation back in I think it was 2023 or maybe his early parts of 2024. And he's pointing out this Keith Olson kid. He's like, hey, this kid over there, he's going to be the future. He's a grinder. He's a worker. And I watched him hit some rotational, and I watched him in some play, and he's good. All of a sudden, man, hey, Keith, you're the guy. And now you got Devon Dampier behind you. So you don't want to let that guy down. And you don't want to let Morgan down. You got a lot of weight to carry. Okay, so those are the young pieces that I can start to work with, that understand my culture with Spencer Fano and understand my culture with Caleb Lomu and Moko Fisi and Jaron Kump and everybody else that stayed with the University of Utah. So you're going to have to infuse that culture, but you're going to be outweighed. We're bringing 4 guys in from the portal that don't understand your culture. You got to put it on them to understand what responsibility they've got for Devon Dampier. And you've got to build a 5-man front out of probably one piece that you feel comfortable with. Maybe 2.
Yeah. The portal may close here in a few days, but if you're already in the portal, certainly you can take all the time you want to sign with your team. I think this is also a big statement to guys that are still on the fence in the portal. Like, oh, no, you're hearing – because I guarantee you there's a lot – I mean, look, the world of negative recruiting is an ugly, nasty world, and there's all kinds of people out there that Utah's in on that are saying, well, geez, Morgan, you don't want to be the guy that replaces the guy. Morgan, is he over his skis a little bit? We don't know. Kevin McGivern, he was at San Jose State and Utah State. Really? That's the offense he's going to go with? There's a lot of uncertainty. And to have the quarterback from last year go, no, I believe in all of these guys, and I'm coming back.
Huge.
And then you go out on the recruiting trail and say, oh, yeah, guess what? Stability? Guess what? Let me play you some of Morgan Scalley's press conference. Let me tell you the fact that quarterback met with the OC and said, I want to come back. And the backup quarterback who got big snaps, he met with the OC and he says he wants to come back. Both those guys are running back. This running back wants to come back. And all of these guys are saying, yeah, we feel comfortable with the coaches. We feel great with the offensive coordinator. We are all coming back. So don't give me that stability nonsense because we're as stable as anybody. So come on to the University of Utah, and these guys want to ride with you.
I said this about Kalani. I'm going to say it about Morgan. I said about Kalani that his talent retention was a bigger win than the 12-win season.
Yes.
This retention of Devon Dampier is Morgan Scalley's biggest win as a head coach to this point. I know that it's a short tenure, but that's his biggest win. and it's an identifier of how his reign and regime should go. It should set the culture. When you play for Morgan Scalley, you stay for Morgan Scalley. Because that's what a Heisman hopeful and a 3,000-yard passer and 600-plus yard rusher and a guy that's racked up close to 30 touchdowns, because that's what he did. It's got to set the culture and the standard. Now, Morgan's got to win to be able to retain that standard and that culture. But this is the indicator that that's what can happen at the University of Utah with Morgan. With Kyle gone, it could still happen with Morgan.
Yeah.
And so it's an early indicator of a lot of positivity moving forward for the University of Utah. I just think it symbolizes a lot more than, oh, yes, we get a good quarterback back. It symbolizes a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And I also think you're right. And the other thing it does for me, if I'm Jordan Gross, I'm able to put a call into the transfer portal to the top 5 offensive linemen who are in the portal and say, hey, I got a guy that's going to make you look really good. What do you mean, coach? He's been sacked a total of 7 times over the last 2 years. I think it's close to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
It's right? It's pretty close to that.
Yeah. It's definitely less than 10. It's single digits.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Because I think he was only sacked 3 times in New Mexico and maybe 5 or 6 times this year.
Yeah. Not much at all.
Okay? So now I can call a kid in the portal, hey, and by the way, I played offensive line. If I've got a coach that calls me and says, hey, I got a quarterback that doesn't get sacked. Now, I'm not saying I'm not accountable for my actions and wanting to be a good offensive lineman. I just understand what timing and footwork can do to make an offensive line look brilliant. And I also know how a bad quarterback can make me look stupid, which I still watch the NFL, and I'm like, hey, Aaron Rodgers, throw the ball. You're going against the best defensive line in the NFL. Throw the ball. Why do you think you can hitch and double clutch? Throw the freaking football. You're getting hit and looking like an idiot, and don't point at your offensive line. It's because you.
Yeah, you knew how bad your offensive line is.
You knew, and your offensive coordinator knew, and you're too big of an idiot, or you got too big of an ego, or you believe you can take the sacks, and you can blame your offensive line, and people won't put the pressure on you. But the truth is, the pressure's on you, you moron. It's the best defensive line. Okay, fine. You put on a bigger set of pads, and you try to stand in front of these rabid maniacs that are trying to kill for money. You do it. You try to block them. Well, yeah, but my offensive line gets paid. Yeah, but they also understand that we're pressured. We know that you're going to throw the ball. As an offensive lineman, when the defensive lineman in front of me knows that you're going to throw the ball, what's the defensive lineman going to do?
Pin their ears back.
Damn right. He's going to take advantage of me. He's going to hit me with one steps all day long. He's going to hit me with one steps. He's going to set me up to the inside all day long. Then he's going to pound down on the inside on a big 3rd and 10, and he's going to hit me on an outside speed rush, and I'm screwed. And it's like, you suck, Aaron. It's not my offensive line, and it's not the coordinator. You suck. Throw the damn ball. Yeah. Well, I can call as Kevin McGivern, or I can call as Jordan Gross, and I can say, hey, I got a guy that knows how to not be sacked.
Yes.
And that's big for you. And this is what we're going to do to make to really emphasize you and your abilities. That's big.
And by the way, I'm going to circle back on Kevin McGivern just based on everything you're saying here. Kevin McGivern was working with a really, and I'm just going to say it was a really bad offensive line at Utah State. I know I call their games, and I should try to sugarcoat it. It was a bad year for that offensive line, and it just wasn't good. And he still had an offense that put up crazy numbers. Why? Because he knew the issues that he had, and he schemed around them. All right, so I've got a rough offensive line. What am I going to do? I'm going to roll my guy out of the pocket. I'm going to do things. I'm going to run a lot of play action. I'm going to do a lot of things to try to keep that defensive line on their heels a bit, because I know if I go a 7-step drop with 3 routes and my guy's, he's not going to have time. Bryson Barnes is going to get murdered back there if he has to sit there and go through his progressions. He doesn't have time. So what can I call that can get us yards and get us points, but yet scheme around this really mediocre to bad offensive line? And that's why I think that's why I will always trumpet up Kevin McGivern, because what he was able to produce with what he had last year, and now you put him into a system where he should have better offensive line. I guarantee he'll have better offensive linemen, and he's got more weapons to work with. Watch out. Watch out.
I think he could be really good. And I think this is big news for the University of Utah. And I think big news for the University of Utah is great news for us.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it will stabilize the football product in this state. It will keep the rivalry healthy. It will keep everything that makes your job fun and my job fun. It will keep it all healthy.
So I remember when we were doing shows back in 2020, and they were trying to get the football season going, and the Big Ten was like, no, we can't play. And then the Pac-12 was like, oh, well, you say you can't play, then we can't play. And everybody was like, nope, we can't play. And it was just, everything was just steamrolling. It was just, and the SEC was like, no, well, we think we can do that.
Yep.
And the BYU's like, well, you know what, we'll cobble together a schedule. We can
two
play.
Leaders.
And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, well, they're playing? Well, then maybe we can play. And then the snowball went the other way. To me, this is that moment for the University of Utah. Not that everybody was fleeing the University of Utah, but there was some key losses.
Yeah.
J.J. Buchanan, Samoa. Like, there's some guys out there that it hurts. You know, Smith Snowden. And you needed one guy to say, nope, no, I'm not going to be like a rat on the Titanic. I'm not jumping. I'm going to stay put. I'm right here. I'm good. I like it. I like the coaches. And you just needed that one signature win to say, no, we're fine. We're going to be just fine. And everything that Morgan said in that press conference of, like, if you want to leave, we're going to wish you well, hope nothing but the best for you, but we're going to surround this team and this community with people who want to be here. And guess what? Devon Dampier saying, I want to be here. It's a big W for
Big W, man.
Yeah, for Morgan, sorry. All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to saddle up and talk about the winners and the losers. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's the good.
It's your good, it's your bad, it's your ugly. All brought to you by RGS Exteriors and Construction. They are obsessed with quality results. Well, we are also obsessed with getting you to a Jazz game. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Caller number 12, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. You win a pair of tickets. See the Jazz and the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up on Tuesday, January 20th at the Delta Center. The game starts at 6 o'clock. By the way, if you don't win tickets, don't worry. We'll give away another pair next hour, and the hour after that, and the hour after that. We do it every Tuesday right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, by the way, I don't know which one of you, Lloyd or Hans, to be mad at. But Hans,
yeah,
I am now on the I'm now on the scripture list, and I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know who gave Trevor Riley my number, but now
I'm so glad.
And now I'm on the scripture list.
Good. This
is good.
This is going to positively affect you.
And you're right. It's like clockwork every day.
Trevor Riley, who is one of my favorite human beings on planet Earth, former Utah player, former Jets player. He is on a mission to not only convert the non-believers, but to reassure the current believers that the Book of Mormon is true. And he is sending passages to everybody every single day.
Every day.
And by the way, I get 2 or 3 scriptures every morning from Trevor Riley, and I look at what he's sending me because I'm like, oh, how's Trevor feeling today?
Yes.
Oh, I see that he feels like Korihor was a bad person, or whatever it is.
Yeah, no. There's God is a wrathful God. There's those days when you can tell maybe Trevor's not in the best of moods, and then there's the forgiving God.
Yeah,
you know, and so
he is just and merciful.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, what'd you do, Trev?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
You're in trouble.
Yeah, I love being on his rotations, and I'm glad that I wouldn't have intentionally shared your number for that purpose.
Okay, now there are 2 random texts that I get that I really enjoy. The Trevor Riley scripture text and the Tim Lacombe playing guitar in his basement text.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
It's a good rotation to be on.
All right. Good, the bad, the ugly. There is a movement. So NCAA tried. A lot of the coaches have been pushing this forever, and there's keeps being pushback in the 5 to play 5. So essentially, no more redshirt years. You have 5 years to play and to have 5 years of eligibility. And for some reason, that just keeps getting kicked back. So football coaches now have responded with a way to kind of adjust and work around that rule. And it used to be 4 games to keep your red shirt. Well, now it looks like it's on its way to 9 games. So essentially, all but 3 games of the year, your freshmen can play and still hold on to their red shirt year. So a red shirt guy, normally if he plays more than 4 games, boom, red shirt's gone. If he plays 4 less games, he can hold on to that red shirt year. Now it's going to be 9 games.
That's official?
It's been unanimously voted on by football coaches, and now they just need to get one more ruling on it. But it looks like if it's passed this far, it looks like it's going to go.
So why 3?
Because they can't get somebody to sign off on 5 to play 5.
Just give them 5.
I couldn't agree more. They
Stop this stupid circus. Now the kids can make money. It
Yes.
used to be shortened because it's like, well, we'll get them through college and then we'll give them their professional opportunity. Now it's like, no, we can offer 5 years of making money to kids.
Yeah.
So just offer the 5 years. Nobody's going to look down their nose at you.
For some reason, we just make things harder than they need to be. And that's why we're in this weird place, because everybody was a stick in the mud. They're like, oh, we can't do this, can't do this. And then it got to the point where kids are like, I think we can. And, I'm going to hire a lawyer. And the kids started suing and winning every case. And now everybody looks dumb, and you got the old Wild West because you weren't proactive enough to think about things like this.
Doesn't 3 games sound petty to you?
It's, very petty. Absolutely.
Like there was somebody in the ruling digging their feet in. No, absolutely not, because then it's 5 to play 5. Okay, well, what's wrong with that? Well, that's just not how it is. It's 4 to play 5, or it's 5 to play 4. Yeah, but is it? Well, if I have anything to say about it, give me 3 games and we'll agree. That's so dumb.
You imagine a kid that's been a starting all right, let's say Moa starts day 1 for Michigan right out of the gate. And it's all of a sudden coming up November, you got Ohio State coming down the pipeline, and it's like, hey, we're going to sit you out the last 3 games. Why, Coach?
What?
Well, because we can sit you out these last 3, and you can still hold your red shirt and be a freshman next year.
Well, to that point, people do not see the games that are played inside that game.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it with one individual in particular this year that it was like, we think he's healthy enough, but we're not sure he's healthy enough, but he's good enough that we need to kind of rest on it, and we'll keep him off the field because maybe we can get to the back end of this and we can ensure a medical red shirt. Or did we play too many? Well, I think we can play him in one more. Oh, but the bowl games don't count against it, so we can play him in the bowl games. Oh, the championship game doesn't count. So, okay, so here's our gamesmanship. Yeah. Okay, so we can play him 2 games in the rivalry game and maybe our biggest game against Texas Tech, and then we'll play him in the Big 12 championship and play him in the bowl game, but we'll keep the medical red shirt. And you're like, wait a second, that's a rat race. All we're doing is playing games for stupid reasons.
It's a shell game.
It's a shell game. Just give them 5 to play 5.
Yeah.
And if they miss 1 because of injury, give them another one. I don't care. And make it an acceptable number. Maybe it's not 1. Maybe it's 2. But when they say, oh, if you played more, I think it's 4 games?
Yes, 4. 4 is what it currently is.
If you played more than 4 games, then you miss on the medical red shirt. Well, okay, but I played partially injured through the majority of one of those 4.
I was really banged up.
I was taken out in the 4th quarter of the 3rd of the 4, and you got all these stupid excuses to play the game. Make it an acceptable thing. If you miss 2 because of injury, we're giving you an opportunity. Okay, but what if in the 10th I played 2 quarters? Okay, you're going to get to the point where you're like, all right, if you missed 1 because of injury, we're going to give you another season.
Yeah.
Because if you missed 1 because of injury, you might have been injured game 5, which influenced game 4 when you got injured, and then influenced the next 4 games because scouts saw he's okay. So now what justifies missing a game because of injury? Because then I could just sit a kid out, say he twists his ankle, and he gets 2 more years of eligibility because we just gamemanship you.
And by the way, if you think what Hans is saying is preposterous, it is par for the course. This goes on all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and
now it's gotten worse because now your money's involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So people are gaming the system. Players are trying to game the system. That's why you see a lot of kids just quit after the month of September because they're like, well, I don't want to, I'm going to go in the portal, and I got my 4 games of film out there. I don't want to risk it, so I'm going to go in the portal, and when the portal opens, and I'm going to miss the rest of the year because I already know. I've already got this coach from the SEC telling me, like, hey, sit out the rest of the year. Come here as a redshirt freshman next year, and we're going to go, and we'll get you paid too. I mean, it happens all the time.
It does.
It's disgusting. All right, there's your good. Let's get to the bad.
Now the bad.
I put this on the bad just because it amuses me. It's a rinse and repeat. And sometimes you get a nickname, and you don't feel like you deserve it. Right? And you feel like, okay, and you got to work past that nickname. If somebody thinks that, they call you, slow, whatever at work because you're slow or you're not good or whatever the case is, and you're like, I'm going to fight through this. I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony Davis was given the best nickname in the history of sports by Charles Barkley.
Yes, he was.
When they called him Street Clothes.
Great.
And if I was called Street Clothes, that would be, they're going after my toughness. They're going after my ability to fight through injury, to play through pain, and I'm going to prove them all wrong. Well, Anthony Davis is expected to undergo surgery on a ligament damage in his left hand, and he will be out the next several months.
Call it. Call it.
Just shut it down.
Just shut it down. Because you are Street Clothes.
He is Street Clothes. But you know what? He's still getting paid, so he's like, look, maybe this isn't a bad gig.
Scotty, unless it's an ironic name, like let's just say that my nickname was Naptime Hans. Naptime Hans on air. Unless it was ironic, like, Tiny Hands. You know Tiny Hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless it was ironic, if I was Naptime, I would do everything I could to juice it up, or I'd get out of the game.
Yep.
Okay, so your name is Street Clothes. You fought against it because I remember when he fought against it.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. How dare these men that are paid to talk about my game call me Street Clothes? That's what you are, man. You could add up the time of his time in the NBA, and it might be less time on the court than time on the court in allowable time. Might be, right?
Yeah.
Less time on the court.
Yep. I think, yeah.
Than time on the court in allowable time.
Correct. I think you're right. And, the other element to this is that this guy was traded to Dallas for Luka.
Who is running the Lakers right now.
And it's exactly going the way we all knew it would go.
Yeah.
Luka would run roughshod for Los Angeles and the Lakers, and Anthony Davis would just be sitting time on the bench. And Nico, fortunately, lost his job over this. I don't like saying guys should be fired. The only time I think we've ever done it is that Nico should have been fired for that trade. And eventually he was, although it took a while.
But again, I am becoming more and more open to the thoughts of conspiracies in the NBA.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
The more I see just the seedy underbelly of what the NBA is becoming and who's running the NBA, I just wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it out of my mind that it was conceivable that somehow Nico brokered a deal to move Luka to receive the number 1 overall pick.
It makes too much sense. And then people are onto it. They're like, well, this seems like this is a conspiracy. Well, what can we do? Well, hey, go fire Nico, and that'll make it seem like you're mad at him.
Hey, Nico, you are going to take the fall for this eventually.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it worth your time.
We'll give you a cush job in the league office. It'll be fine.
The move was so bombastic. It was so preposterous. It was so ridiculous that it had to be associated and tied to something. Because nobody with that level of ineptitude could possibly be running an NBA roster to move Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers. without something being attached to it.
I hate being tinfoil hat guy. I really do. I don't want to be that guy, but you can't help but not be that guy because it's just so blatantly obvious. And to see them have a .004 chance of getting the number 1 overall pick and like, oh, wait a minute, you have it. And here comes Cooper Flagg.
And honestly, Scotty, if I'm an NBA owner, I might not be public with it or overly vocalize it, but I would be calling for a complete and total investigation into it, because this trade happened in the middle of the night and they ended up with Cooper Flagg. I want an investigation. I know that sounds petty and people are like, yeah, well, hey, it's just because you're a Jazz guy. Look, I'm not a Jazz guy. I'm just talking from a business sense.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz were the worst record in the NBA, and not only did they miss on number 2, they were sent down to number 5, while Dallas moved a talent, and Dallas got number 1.
Dirty.
I'm asking for a total investigation. Yeah. And then at some point, if they're like, we're not going to investigate that, then I'm going public with it because I think there's something stinky about this.
If Mark Cuban was an owner of a team, not Dallas, and I know he's no longer the owner in Dallas, but if that happened, we need more like Mark Cubans. They're just like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going to say what's on my mind. And I think that was dirty. Like, there needed to be somebody to be like,
yeah, because
hey, no,
Mark might be the only guy that would have said it.
Exactly.
If this happened, but it was the Jazz. If the Jazz had the number 1 player in the league, and they moved him
to the Lakers
for street clothes.
Yeah.
They move him to Showtime for street clothes, but then somehow they end up with the number 1 pick. They get A.J. Devonta in their back pocket when they were the 5th or 6th worst record. What was Dallas?
Dallas was in the play-in.
That's right. They lost in the play-in. They were 11th.
Yeah. So I mean I'm telling you, the chances were like .03 or something like that. Just a ridiculously low amount.
And they end up with it.
Yeah.
Everybody would be calling for some type of. And guess who would be head of that? It would be Mark Cuban if he was full owner again.
All right, Hans and Scotty, Whole World News coming up next. And we'll talk a little hockey coming up at 2:05. Bill Armstrong will join us. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.